Facu is?
Jeez.
That's the word.
Michael Malone getting drunk out here?
That is the word.
To distract Gregg Popovich. What is up, everybody, and welcome into the DNVR Nuggets pregame show presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Ching!
No,
we're not doing that.
We do this every time. There's no
ching.
intro. We know.
DraftKings Sportsbook. Ching! Make money,
Where the money reside. Where the money
We need to
reside.
establish this. We get do it on the fly. Anyway, go ahead.
Make it rain. I don't know what you guys want to do. Use promo code DNVR when you download the top-rated sportsbook app in all of America, because later in the show, Dev, like he did yesterday, he's going to give you winners. And nothing but winners. What was your record yesterday?
I was 4-0 yesterday.
It was 4 the wins?
4.
And is O the losses?
That's what that usually means.
Yeah, that's incredible. 4-0. We got a fun show for you guys today. We're going to talk about the Nuggets. Currently have the best offensive rating in the history of the NBA.
Let's just Let's just give Harrison a little space here.
Oh my!
This is why I'm actually on the pregame show
He's
tonight.
supposed to be at the arena.
Yeah.
He's like, no.
I got it. The second I saw that topic, I knew I had to be on the show.
The bat symbol.
Oh, I can't wait for it. Of course, a little bit later, we're going to be talking about Michael Malone. Can he be the new Popovich? Can he be the Popovich of
Can I
this
answer
era?
that?
Well,
Yes.
you're going to answer it
Let's
later
go.
on. I can't wait for it. And then, of course, later on, bets. But first, game notes. Jamal Murray.
So this news just came down as we were going live here. Jamal Murray's out tonight. We knew that. Getting the start tonight, it's not Monte Morris.
Wow.
It's Facu Campasso.
Wow.
Facu getting
Let's
the
go,
nod.
Argentina.
Yeah,
Where's
so
Argentina at?
There are some layers to this, I think. Michael Malone did say in the pregame that he didn't want to really push Monte into like the 30-minute type category. He did just come back from an 11-game absence. He played 23 minutes last night, so I don't think they want to play him too much. There's that element. The other interesting thing is Gregg Popovich was kind of singing Facu's praises in his pregame Zoom session as well, so I don't know if that played into it at all. Probably
that
not.
That alone lets
but,
us know that Malone can be the new Popovich.
Exactly. They
both
both
really
love
like Facu.
Facu. Yeah.
yeah. But
That's so
interesting.
funny.
That's interesting.
If I were to ask you, do you think Gregg Popovich likes Facu? would it have been like no hesitation?
No question. No question.
Yeah,
Like,
he loves the small guards that are from
yeah.
the international small guards that like play their hearts out, and he would get the best out of them. Like that's what he does. It's just making sure that everybody plays the right way. And Facu, he does play the right way.
We think Gregg Popovich loves the Nuggets deep down, secretly, don't we? Like he loves the Nuggets.
I really do. I think that he's like the nicest with our media than anyone else. Even if there's like a wild question, because I remember when I first started with Nuggets, I think everybody wanted to get popped. Like that was like the thing.
Oh, I've gotten popped multiple times.
Asked them a lot of questions, and some of them he lets
badge
go,
of honor.
and he's super nice about it. But he answers a lot of those questions though.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a non-zero chance where one day Pop is like a consultant. Oh yeah, that was like a double negative. Okay. There is a non-zero chance that maybe Pop is a consultant or something one day for the Nuggets. Just kind of bring in Nikola Jokic and Denver along from afar.
One time, it was maybe 2 years ago. One of the security guards didn't know who Popovich was. it was the best story ever. He didn't know who he was. He asked him if he was one of the assistant coaches or somebody do you know this guy? And Popovich is pissed off the entire time. You don't know who I am?
Was that the game where he got tossed after 40 seconds?
Super mad, and it started out
game?
It started out with the security guard asking him for his he's like, "Can I see your credential?" And he's like, what? Everybody else looks around what's going on? Yeah. That was the best story, though.
That's hilarious. Yeah. I love Pop. I'm a big fan of Pop.
He's awesome.
Big fan.
The one quibble I do have with Pop is that he has descended into the NBA's worst hair conversation.
Yeah, it's not looking
He
great.
really looks like a combination, again, between Count Chocula and the Crypt Keeper. I keep using Count Chocula as well.
I love the hair because it reminds me of the villains in Mad Max.
Kind of, yeah. He has definitely a 90s.
He looks like Immortum Joe. That's not good. That's a bad thing. Those are villains.
I think he looks like Glass Joe because it comes down in the back and then makes a little.
Yeah, but Glass Joe is young and full of life.
Well, he looks like the old Glass Joe.
Wispy. I'm reminded of his mortality, and I don't want to be.
Yeah. All right. Here's what else we got for game notes. So. On Jamal Murray, he's going to miss a second straight game tonight. Michael Malone said he's not overly concerned about the right knee soreness, but he did say it's been bothering him for a bit. And this was interesting, I thought. He was asked, did Murray really push you to play? Because we know this is a guy in Jamal Murray who hates to sit. And he pretty much said no, he needs the rest. So that's how you know it's something real. Our Brendan Vogt, who's at the game, reporting that Murray went through some of a shooting routine. He was wearing a brace out there. So he's still getting shots up, but yeah, just something to monitor, I'd say.
I'd say my level of concern is yellow.
Yeah.
What is the scale that's on?
Well, it goes, white, no concern at all.
Sure.
Yellow, mild concern.
Okay.
Then it goes to orange, moderately concerned.
Into orange.
And then red is very concerned.
I'd say yellow too.
But I mean, I
yellow.
was white yesterday.
Yeah, right.
Today
right.
I'm yellow.
I assumed Murray would be playing today.
I've never been white.
Dev's not down with this scale.
Yeah.
I've actually never been white.
You
It's
might
the
get
craziest
canceled for
thing.
this scale.
I've been Serbian. I've never been white.
Make a scale where white is the best.
But I mean,
that's
Jamal
terrible.
Murray, guys, he's played the 11th most minutes in the NBA this year. Of course,
Yeah.
Nikola Jokic has played the third most, and he's fine, and he's
Hey, man.
playing
Dude,
every
I
game.
am
Jamal
whatever-
Murray's played the 11th most.
Whatever is non-problematic and wildly unconcerned, that's what I am.
Okay.
I am.
You're not concerned.
No, I'm not. I just think that Jamal Murray has gone through little bumps and bruises like this, and we're at a point of the schedule where our full firepower is not required, and so I
Right.
think it's very smart to do. I mean, he's taking shots. He's not on crutches.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, yeah. I guess that's fair. That's fair.
it's like he's.
It is. I do think it's smart to rest him.
It
now,
is
though.
smart. This is where your depth should be your weapon. Not just something you fall back on.
No.
Yeah.
Any other notes? Millsap, I know now.
Yeah, Millsap out for rest. The only other note I have is actually two things. Trey Lyles, Keita Bates-Diop, both out tonight. Sorry, guys.
No
Me and
reunion.
D-Line
Sorry,
wanted the
guys.
revenge game.
Yeah, we thought it was gonna be a big
We were
revenge
rooting
game.
for that. That was going to be my lock of the game.
It was going to be the Diop drop. We were going to go for it, but
Lonnie
DP boys.
Walker's also out. DeJounte Murray, who didn't play the other night when
Lonnie Walker killed the Nuggets in that first game.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
went
did.
berserk.
Yeah, he's out. DeJounte Murray, who was not playing when the Spurs got roasted by the Cavs the other night, is playing tonight. And another note from Michael Malone, big fan of Patty Mills. Big fan of Patty Mills. He said he loves how he plays. He plays the right way.
we're positive. he
Malone
didn't say-
said this?
Yeah.
So Malone loves their tiny guard.
Right.
We're positive
Popovich likes our tiny guard.
We're positive he didn't say Patty melts, right?
Yeah,
He was just like the sandwich.
It's the tongue. It'll throw you off. Patty melt.
He's like, I'm a big Patty melt guy. I like an
yeah.
onion.
Yeah, I am too, though.
Patty Milk guy. All right, let's move on now, guys, to the topic of the day. The Denver Nuggets, your Denver Nuggets, my Denver Nuggets, our Denver
I think
Nuggets.
they're mostly mine.
They are mostly yours.
Let's go.
Have the single greatest offense in the history of the NBA.
Whoa, boom, boom. See, that's why you came on the show. I was wondering.
Yes.
why
Just
you
as
came
our
on the
own
show.
Harrison Wind once predicted would
Boldly.
happen. Now, do you want to just take a victory lap, or should I provide all of the important caveats
Go
to
ahead.
this?
Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
A couple important caveats.
I'm not one to gloat.
They
I'm not
have
one to-
0.1 points per 100 possessions better than the Brooklyn Nets, who have now the second best offensive rating in
Sounds
the
like
history of the
second place to
NBA.
me.
It does. And then if we continue to go down the list this year, the Utah Jazz have the third best offense in the history of the NBA.
Sounds like two worse than Nuggets.
0.1 points per 100 possessions lower. Clippers 0.1 below that for the fourth best offense of all time. The Bucks this year have the fifth. Portland Trailblazers sixth. Phoenix Suns seventh. So the top 7 offenses in NBA history currently happening.
Yeah, this is a fans thing.
This is what?
A fans thing.
Oh, because no fans in
no
the arena.
fans, like the not being distracted by somebody yelling like horribly offensive things from a Utah crowd.
Right,
is
yes,
allowing you
exactly.
to lock
So
in.
true.
And just, the intimidation of tying all of the balloons together behind behind the baskets. So you
Those
miss a free
thunder
throw.
sticks.
Yeah,
that
truly,
really
like,
makes it the entire difference.
There is a big difference between reading something by yourself and then reading in front of a bunch of people. Like your heart starts to race, and that clearly. I mean, you can't explain this any other way.
Is there anything? Sorry, is there anything like for pace or anything? Because I know that there was like a change
Nuggets are still a very slow
the
paced
shot clock
team,
violation and stuff like that. Like, doesn't it reset
No,
to only
yeah.
14 and things like that?
And
like
that has sped up, but that's been for a couple years now. I do wonder if one other minor thing has impacted this. I mean, some of this is offenses are getting smarter. More three-point shooters are coming in. Like, we're kind of gaming the NBA. We kind of need maybe a rule shakeup to change some of the incentives right now. But the world is shut down for a large portion of this. I mean, starting opening up now. And I wonder how much of, like, why is it tough to play on the road? You're in Atlanta. Magic City till 4 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, I only get to come here once a year. I'm gonna do it all out. Now it's like I'm in my hotel room. I can't go out. There's like
focus on the game.
I gotta let 8 different people. Yeah, like there's just focus on the game. I mean, there's a real chance this plays part of it.
I think a big reason why is just offenses are better this year and defenses are just worse. I just don't think teams are as locked in defensively this year as they'd normally be
to
either.
have 4 teams that are the best
7
7 teams are the best offense in the NBA. I mean, that can't just be like we're trying harder. I mean, potential. I mean, there's no great rule shifts that have been implemented this year that could explain it. Could it?
I mean, there's less practice time. There's less practice time, which
Defense,
I think tilts towards
you know
the
what?
offense.
There's something there. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Defense is not being quite on a string. I mean, yeah, everybody's struggling. Like, you have the worst defense or the best defense in the NBA this year would be pretty mediocre 2 years ago.
There probably has to be like something to playing every other day, like maybe just players being more tired, like not giving it all, like everything that they have on the defensive end, and then also it being like a league that's geared towards offense. And really, I think that it also shows just like how like we've progressed as a game. Like, it has to be harder to defend with everybody being so good and everybody shooting the 3-ball well, and just like the evolution of the game. So like if you put a guy from like the 90s or the 80s in this type of, like, how do they defend without fouling?
Did you point at me as a guy from the 90s?
No. That was that.
You put like a
60s
over here. I mean,
yeah, so don't think that I'm not giving you any respect.
No, trust me. I realize anything that's being said, I realize is not meant for respect. I understand that.
No, but the reason I gave that bold prediction at the beginning of the season was because part of me did feel like this offense kind of was a sleeping giant. And that's exactly what I said on that preseason pod that we did. They were 5th in offense last year, but we all thought Nikola Jokic was going to have one of the best offensive seasons of his career.
Right.
We knew he had never been surrounded by this much offensive talent, this many playmaking guards that can just get him the ball in the spots he needed to. We thought Jamal Murray was going to take a leap. We thought Michael Porter Jr. was going to take a leap as well. Now, I didn't think he was going to be 6'10" Klay Thompson this year, but
I did.
That's who he's been. So I really felt like there was a ton of room to grow, even though they were the 5th best offense in the league last year.
So it's 117 their offensive rating. If you go back the last 15 games, okay, this is really the breakout of Michael Porter. It actually goes a little bit further than that, but let's say 15 games, they have a 119.3 offensive rating. That's number one by a full point. If we shorten that just to the last 5 games, this is the Aaron Gordon era, a 123.5 offensive rating. And you might say, well, okay, who did they play over that? And there were some bums, right? There was Orlando.
Yeah, there were bums. There was the Clippers.
Yeah, but the Clippers and the 76ers, who, by the way, have been like stopping everybody, are 2 non-bums. Same exact result. So I think there's reason to believe that Denver can have, for the rest of the season, the number 1 offense. In fact, that's kind of the topic I wanted to ask. Do you think Denver will finish with the number 1? Let's forget about the history, because it is, when 7 teams all have the best offense of all time, okay, there's something fudgy here. But can they have the best one this year, which means relative to everybody else? Do you think so, Eric?
I have no reason to believe that the result that they've gotten from the first 6 games of Aaron Gordon is the peak of what they're able to.
Is it 5 games or 6 with Aaron Gordon?
5-0.
So the first 5 games of Aaron Gordon's tenure with the Denver Nuggets, I do not believe is the peak of his tenure. I believe they will only get better. They'll learn to play together even more so. And yes, they're absolute, like, they
Brooklyn hasn't played with like their big 3 though. You know,
it's a great point, but we don't know. I mean, I don't even know when they're going to come back, and who knows? Like, Kyrie Irving might not feel like playing for a week or 2.
Yeah.
He just takes some time off for no good reason. Like, they don't seem particularly concerned with the regular season. So
that's true.
The Denver Nuggets actually have something to figure out. So I would bet it.
That's why I think they've got a chance to, because we know Michael Malone heading into the playoffs, he's going to want to make sure that the starting 5 with Gordon even though they've had great chemistry so far, he's going to keep wanting them to develop more and more chemistry over the next couple of weeks. He's going to want to get his bench rotation hammered out. He loves to have that stuff set well in advance before the playoffs, I think. So I just think Denver's going to keep pushing, whereas some other teams, Brooklyn, Clippers, the Lake, I don't know if they're going to go full throttle ahead.
Yeah. I think the reason Denver, the answer is yes, is because Aaron Gordon unlocks them, and because Michael Porter is not long away from being one of the best offensive players in this league. Jokic already on the very short list of best offensive players in the NBA. Jamal Murray, a very elite one, and at times one of the better ones. You get three guys that all can be like top 10, 15 offensive players. You're going to have a great offense, especially when they all work together. So I think I'm going to call it.
Michael Porter, it's gotten to a point, and this is wild to say based on how we've talked about him the last year, it's gotten to a point where he's underrated, I think.
He is underrated.
And it's wild that we've gotten to that point.
He's not going to be as underrated as Jamal Murray. Like, Michael Porter fits the mold of the type of player that is going to quickly catch on.
Dude, Michael Porter Jr. is like, it's him and Joe Harris if you're looking for the best shooter in the league right now.
Right.
I wrote it today.
I was going to say the two players you'd love to spend the rest of your life with.
Well, one of those. I'm going to let you decide which one.
Could be either one.
No, him and Joe Harris are the top two shooters in the league right now based on true shooting percentage, based on like their catch and shoot threes. Those are the two best shooters in the league. And this season, especially over the last month or so, we've seen Porter, I think, become one of the more dangerous off-ball players in the league, too, just with how he's cutting, especially when he's playing off of Nikola Jokic. But he's realized that he can be one of the most potent off-ball players, too.
Well, we'll move on now, guys, because we got to keep it moving to our next topic, which is, Gregg Popovich is in town. Loves Michael Malone. Huge admirer of him. Those two have a real friendship. Some similar traits, and it makes you wonder. It's funny that 3-4 years ago, Brad Stevens, there was the famous tweet from Chris Mannix. Would you rather have any player in the NBA or Brad Stevens? Would you rather have it? It sounds ridiculous now, right? And I think that now, if you just talked about the stock between those two, both very good coaches, and by no means a knock, I feel like Michael Malone's stock has really risen, and he's already been in Denver now for 6 seasons? That's a long time. Do you think there's a chance? I'll start with you, Dev. Is there a chance Michael Malone could have a Gregg Popovich-like run where he's the coach of the Nuggets through the teens, the 20s, into the 30s?
I say yes, and the only reason I say yes, it seems like he's getting better every single year, and he's getting the most out of his guys. It doesn't matter who he has; he seems to get the best out of them, and he continues to get better. The idea is that Popovich, he's won all those games, and he has those championships, but he's also just mean, but they do the same exact things.
Right.
Malone's just really nice, and he's open, and he's more relatable. So that's the idea. He doesn't have that mean streak to him or anything like that. But he's just as competitive. He's also just as stubborn. Where he's everyone's pushing for him to start Michael Porter Jr. so early on, and they're saying you need to do all these things. He's not afraid to go against what the traditional look is to even motivate his guys. He had Jokic not starting because of Yusuf Nurkic. He had Michael Porter Jr. have to earn his once he gets here. He had all these guys that he never gave them the keys to just go and get it. He's really stubborn, and he doesn't answer to the fans. The fans have done everything. They screamed for Bol Bol last game. Did he think about putting Bol Bol in?
That's so funny. Yeah.
He does not care.
Not only does he not care, he's oh, I know what I'm not doing.
He doesn't even speak about it.
Nobody cheer Bol Bol. He will not get in.
He does not care. He really doesn't. Michael Porter Jr. He was still coming off the bench even this year. After showing that he's a great player in the bubble. He's just gonna get the most out of his guys, and he has a push to him. It just looks different. Yeah. But he's the guy for the Nuggets. He really is.
He's so the guy.
I think he's got a chance, and one reason why is because one of Michael Malone's best qualities as a coach was also one of Gregg Popovich's, and it's just his connection to his players.
Yeah,
I really feel like Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, we'll see about Michael Porter. We'll see, but I definitely feel like Nikola and Jamal are so tight-knit with Malone. They've been through the wars together. They've come up together. Those two guys have become max players under Michael Malone, and I think they both would give him some credit for that. And in Gregg Popovich, when he was in San Antonio, he always had a great connection with his stars.
Yeah.
So I think that's something Malone definitely has.
All right. I saw those, Kale. I saw those. We'll get to them at the end here before we do bets.
My brother I got into the Nuggets a few years ago, and he, just watching them and going to games with me, made this very observation that he thought,
Wow.
Apropos of nothing, like he saw in Michael Malone traits that he also recognized in Gregg Popovich. And a lot of it is what you're talking about, Harrison. It's like that connection to players. I mean, there's no coach in the league that is more well regarded by just players
Right.
on every team than Gregg Popovich, because he makes a point to be personable with them and block and like not give the time of day to like the media or think people that are not in the inner circle, but like really make a big deal about the family and like the NBA family.
Yeah.
And Michael Malone has that exact same trait. Like he doesn't owe anybody anything. And Dev's point is even better. Like, sorry. He's getting better every single year. Like when we first got Michael Malone, it was like all people could talk about were his rotations, and that is easily and late game decision making. Like that was the knock on Michael Malone early on. And just like in any job, the longer you do it, the more comfortable you feel. That you make mistakes and then you learn from them, and you see him getting better and better and better. And it's not we're not constantly quibbling about his rotations like it used to be the conversation about Malone. I just think that, and not only that, like he is in so tight with ownership, which is ultimately who makes the decision on whether or not somebody gets to keep their tenure. So yes, absolutely, Michael Malone is whether or not he has the same level of basketball IQ as Gregg Popovich, probably debatable, but as long as if you're talking about longevity, no question.
You guys are missing the key ingredient here,
Oh,
though.
boy.
You guys are all wrong. He's got his Tim Duncan.
Yep.
I mean, why did Gregg Popovich last for 20 years? Because he had a player that was willing to be coached, great enough to be the best player, in any series and throughout a regular season, and who had a connection with him. And it's like, well, we're not going to upset the apple cart just to, and do this. And what did Nikola Jokic say when he was asked about being in Denver? The only time he's ever spoken about his future, he said, it really feels like a family here. I'm so comfortable. I've built all these relationships. Well, you have to think, and even really know, that one of the relationships he's talking about is with Michael Malone.
Absolutely.
Who your coach is and how you get along with that guy is just so key. And I think Michael Malone and Nikola Jokic like each other. Yeah. Jamal Murray and Michael Malone like each other. And if that's the case, then he's going to stick around. And you win, you're going to get the opportunity to have a very long career.
Yeah. My only question is, and I just thought of this, does Michael Malone get to a point where maybe he takes the Nuggets to the finals this season? Maybe, they go on a deep playoff run the next season. Does he get to a point where, like, the Chicago Bulls, the New York Knicks, the Lakers come a-calling? Does he get to a point where he's suddenly...
Would he take that?
I don't know.
I don't think he would.
I don't know.
I don't think he would.
New York would be tough. The Knicks would be tough because, it's home. And I'm sure, and he grew up. But here's the thing. When you have kids... and you have put down roots, it's hard to get up and go, and he does that. And I do think that it's funny. Doug Moe is from Brooklyn. Doug Moe came out here. He became a Denver guy. It became a part of who he was. And I think Michael Malone is by no means a Colorado guy, but he is a New York move to Colorado guy.
He's kind of making himself into a Colorado guy as best as he can, though. The guy mountain bikes. Yeah. The guy is big into the brewery scene. He loves it, man. He loves it.
We have his favorite beer here on tap. Just saying, if you're watching this, Michael Malone.
Yeah.
We just spent 10 minutes gushing about you. Come on the DNVR show.
We always have it stocked just in case you want to come.
But even like just larger perspective, Tim Connelly was given the opportunity to move back home to take a job.
Great point.
And he didn't do it because what is being built here is special. And Michael Malone is a major part of that. So unless something changed dramatically with ownership or there was some blow up with players or something, like I have a really hard time imagining he would want to tear it all up and start again.
There is such a thing, man, about there's this idea of the Knicks are better. Be a Laker. Yeah. Imagine if you could do the Lakers, that's better. But in money, we could throw more money at you to do a job you hate.
Yep.
The older you get, the more you do realize that that's important. I'm not saying it's not important to have the money be the appreciation of this or that. But the more you get, you're like, you know what? Why would I'm happy?
Yep.
It's not like I was sitting at home unhappy. Why would I think that you gave me more money now I'm happier? Doesn't always work that way.
And he's already seen what's on the other side of the fence. He was in Sacramento, where you had arguably the worst owner in the NBA. How could you leave a situation in Denver where there's so much alignment to go to, say, the Knicks? Even though it's his hometown, you have actually you actually have the worst owner in the NBA.
I love that we started from could he last long enough to be our coach to will he accept us long enough to stay here?
We're so damaged.
We are so damaged. All right, let's get to these super chats real quick here. Kale, what do we got?
You got Eric gifted you immunity from shots.
Get out of jail free card.
That's a great one. I love it.
I don't know if I want immunity tonight.
Oh, he's drunk with power.
I want to be drunk with booze.
Injury update. Looks like Monte JaVale lineup is incoming, and I'm excited about it. What say you? Also excited about it very much.
Excited.
We don't have enough time to really dive into that one, but I do. I was interested to see Facu and JaVale McGee because I think Facu a great lob thrower, but we know Monte. We already know Monte a great lob thrower.
Also, just the most hilarious pairing of human beings.
Yeah, Facu and McGee for sure. So I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
What else? You guys do an in-depth analysis of the Lakers-Nuggets matchup in the playoffs. The only team we should be concerned about. Look, they play the Lakers here in a couple weeks, and I think we'll probably get into that quite a bit. I don't really want to do that now just because we try to keep the show a little bit more topical. We've touched on it, but we'll keep it a little bit more topical. But it is a good one. By the way, if you do want to hear us talk about that very subject, subscribe to the DNVR Nuggets podcast. We talked about that 2-3 shows ago. It wasn't long. You don't have to go back too far. We actually did a solid 10 minutes on the Lakers-Nuggets matchup, as well as every other team out in the Western Conference playoff hunt. So,
or you're already on YouTube, just click a few back.
No, that one was not. It was only a podcast. Remember? Do you remember we did it as a podcast?
Oh,
do you remember
was it you and I?
Yeah, you were on it. It was that Harrison was there as well.
I do not recall.
Vote was there. It was literally like 72 hours ago.
Yeah.
It was really very
no
recently.
memory of that.
All right, last segment here. And we've only got like 4 minutes. So, Dev, open up the DraftKings Sportsbook app.
For each winner.
Win some money for everybody here.
Let's do this.
All right, who are we taking from San Antonio?
Well, first of all, what's the line?
So
5.5?
the line is at 5.5, which I thought was pretty interesting with Jamal Murray out. I just thought that they'd be closer. I guess the Spurs stink, so who knows? They got a few guys back, so I thought that they would try to push it like a little bit closer. So 5.5 is still one that I don't feel comfortable with. I don't love it. I just really don't. But also, the Nuggets have Jokic, so I'll take 5.5.
I just bet on it. Well, you were like, I don't love it. I'm like, whatever, I do.
That's not my lock, but that's something that I will take. My lock.
Oh boy.
Or we'll go through some.
I know what my lock is.
The lock that I'll go with is Nikola Jokic, 23.5.
That's a lock?
Yeah, that's easy. That's really easy for him. I do think that he's going to get the points, rebounds, and assists, but I think that he also will just, with the lineup that has Facu in it and just guys like Will Barton trying to find his role, they're going to give it to Michael Porter Jr. They're going to give it to Jokic. Those two players are going to score. I feel more comfortable in Jokic because it's the MVP this year, but also Michael Porter Jr. You could take that. I'm sure that Eric likes the 3-pointers from Michael Porter Jr.
Listen, man, I don't walk all over your stuff.
Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry about that. So that's why I'm not going to take the 3-pointers. So I will go with Jokic as the lock for points.
You know what I like? The 3-pointers.
Michael Porter
Jr.
It's just the most fun bet.
No, the two.
It's suspended, it says. What happened?
The two locks.
They get taken off the board?
The two absolute.
Oh, man.
The two absolute locks tonight.
They're listening into
Nikola
the show.
Jokic,
They knew we were about to pound it.
And Michael Porter Jr., either points or 3-pointers. Up to you, your discretion. All three of those are absolutely going to hit.
All I know is that it is so much fun betting for it because every 3 is already a 10 out of 10 on fun.
And again, we already talked about Michael Porter Jr.'s shooting form already has so much built in fun because it's such a high arc. You have a lot of time to think about it, especially if it's the last one you need after he's hit 2 in the first quarter. And then you have the rest of the time as he launches one to be like, oh, just imagine it being gold raining down from heaven.
Dude, I can't get in on this bet. It keeps getting suspended. Everybody's betting on it right now.
43.5 points, rebounds, and assists. That seems like such a lock. 43.5.
Taking that one too, huh?
I love those two. Those two are what I'm going to have.
Alrighty.
Yo, they're literally watching our show. I mean, like
Dude.
they're just locking
The
up.
pick is currently suspended for that one, too. Unbelievable. We're trying to win people money here.
DraftKings, you're killing us.
They're killing us. It's hilarious, man. This is too funny.
All these suspended.
Alrighty.
What's going
All
on?
of these are suspended. People made so much money off of Dev last night that they are just like rushing there. Is there any other bets you like here? Any other crazy ones you want to?
Of course, we have to go with the one, like that makes the most sense.
Okay.
It's going to be Derek White. Derek White over on points.
Really?
He's coming back to his hometown.
He's playing against Facu.
Like he gets to the Facu matchup. He's going to try to score. He already went at other guys. He embarrassed Paul Millsap. Paul Millsap didn't want to play because of that dunk that he had a few years ago against him. That's why Paul Millsap doesn't want to come out. That's like a rule. DJ Wilson didn't get the memo. So yeah, the points for Derek White's also going to be in there for me.
I'm so bummed I can't get in on this. What were we betting? Jokic 23.5 over? Or
Yeah,
no, I
we're
think I
betting
already took
that.
Do
that
the
one.
points, rebounds, and assists. That is good.
All right, points, rebounds, and assists. Let me see if I can get to it
the
here.
H, bro.
I can't get anything in.
I can't get it. Oh man, Michael Porter, can I get my 2.5 over? Nope, suspended. All right, well,
I can get Keldon Johnson to record a
not-
double-double. I can get
DraftKings
that.
not the greatest.
guys, smash that like button. Guess what? We did it.
We did it.
We did it! 10,000 subscribers. We got
Let's
over.
go.
Thank everybody. Thank you guys, everybody that hit the subscribe button over the last few days. Big time, baby. Big time. Next stop, 100,000.
Oh,
Give us a real number.
All right, 10,005.
let's go.
Hit the like button on your way out, guys. We'll see you in the post game.